Welcome to Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Minahan and her panel of guests bring you insightful conversations to awaken consciousness for soul growth. Come journey with us through astrology's energetic cycles and get ready to understand your path in the cosmic roots of the stars.
Hello, everybody. This is Talk Cosmos. I'm Sue Minahan, and we have our panel that comes every quarter, every season, Astro Jam. And we kind of embellished and made it, I, and all of us, a little new for you today. And we're going to jump right into it because we have a lot to unpack. It's about the equinox, but then if you look on Talk Cosmos, there is tons about the equinox. The sun and the light and night equalize just long enough to give us some ideas of, whoops, there we go, and we're changing into the next season. So let's begin. We're going to just start right off. Thank you. And if I can get my hello, Justin, hello, Sean, Jolly, Marie, Melissa, and Israel. This is great. Do we have our slides there? I didn't lose them, I hope. Did I? Nate? Oh, no, I wish you would have told me because I had to go away. All righty. Well, then why don't each one of you just identify yourself, starting with Justin? Say your name and what you... Well, go ahead. Why don't each one of you just identify yourself, starting with Justin?
Yeah, my name is Justin Helsey, and I am coming to you from the Pacific Northwest, and that's it.
Sean?
Hey, I'm Sean Kelly. I'm coming from Mount Shasta, California. I love to dabble in evolutionary astrology and am honored to be here amongst all these amazing people. Thank you.
Marie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marie O'Neill. I am in Santa Rosa, California. I'm an evolutionary astrologer, along with being an esoteric astrologer, author, and life coach.
Melissa.
Hello, I am barely awake. It's dawn here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, but I am delighted to be here again with all of these bright, shiny faces and stars in the universe of astrology. And my focus is dwarf planet astrology.
Israel Ahose.
Yes, I am here in London, UK, or from London, UK. I am a professional astrologer, and I blend traditional, medieval, and psychological astrology as one. And always great to be here as usual. Great energy.
Excellent. Well, we do have our teams, and we'll get right down to that. And I suppose the universe has always had, if you want change, Sue, well, this is how we're going to do it. So now we are ready for our slides. Thank you. We have these, again, these are the websites for everybody, and it's Sacred Planets for Israel. Jennifer isn't able to make it. Jolly is Bodhi Mindful. Justin Crockett Elsie is his name. Melissa has a Substack, which is her name, Melissa Elvira Billington, Trust the Longer Journey. And if I can see the last one, which is, and Sean has, why doesn't it show it? Darn. Well, Marie, go ahead, Sean. It's Evolutionary Astrology.
Yeah, that's quite all right.
Okay. And Marie O'Neill is Padma Life Coaching. So what is Astro Jam? We have clues, we have mystery charts, and the script basically is this team will improvise on the chart that they've never seen before because the other team was the mastermind that came up with it. However, we do have a clue, and we also know the century. The clue is a riddle, so we'll see how much help that is, but it's still a clue. We haven't had it before. And then the horn, we've added an extra feature. There's going to be a bell and a horn giving us, just like in the theater, time's out, folks. And then we talk, we reveal the chart, and we discover, hey, look at that, this planet, that planet, it made sense, or it didn't make sense, whatever we want to do. So Israel Ahosi, and you can, on your own leisure, look at this. He is in England. And we have Jennifer, who's not here. We have Jolly, also from England, Jolly Knott, and she's a Reiki master and coach. We have Justin Crockett Elsie there in Washington, who's an archetypal astrologer, teacher, author, and has many shows on Instagram and his YouTube. And Marie O'Neill, the founder of her life coaching, and does work with Kepler College, and an author. And Melissa Elvira Billington of Australia, down there in Brisbane, as we know, down under. Trust the Longer Journey is her Substack. And she also works with Alan Clay of the Dwarf Planets, which is very exciting. And she does a few of her own exciting, wonderful dramas. And Sean Kelly of Mount Shasta, their evolutionary astro, who's a speaker and executive in motivational leadership, who has his own talks coming up and worked with many wonderful astrologers. And myself, Talk Cosmos, I'm founding it. I founded it, rather. And I'm evolving. I've got something in the works that I'm tempted to talk about, but we'll find out. So our first panel team is our three people. Jen won't make it. Israel Ahosi of England, Jolly Knott of England, and Melissa Elvira Billington of Australia. The Commonwealth itself.
Commonwealth.
Now we have a theme. It's a fall equinox, and that can be any event, person, place, or thing relating to the equinox throughout history, or occurring on the day of the fall equinox. The century for this particular chart is the 17th century, which is back in the 1600s. The clue: rumors are like seeds. They spread and grow until they become uncontrollable. So now I'm going to preface this. There's a bi-wheel, but I also separated it into two charts. So when you see the bi-wheel, exclaim, I'm the inner Mars, as you talk, this is what you're feeling or what Mars is thinking or doing. Or I'm the outer chart Mercury, and I think that's blah, 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 whatever you think. And if you want to see the two separate, somebody chime in, because I can toggle back and forth. It's another little twist. All right, there you go. Rumors are like seeds. They spread and grow until they become uncontrollable. I'm the moon. I'll start off, and I'm on the inside, and I radiate. I am going to think the way I do, and you know what? That they want me to let go of something. I don't know.
I am the sun. Sun in Pisces. I'm on the ascendant, which makes me extremely sensitive. And the fact that I'm conjunct Neptune as well, it really makes me sensitive in a way that I plug into the collective, a collective ideal, perhaps an element of self-sacrifice. There could be elements of victims, but I shine. I'm on the ascendant, so it allows me to be radiant and share and shed my compassion and sympathy and empathy for whoever comes into contact with me, or wherever I go, I shine that light.
I am Mars, receiving a conjunction from Jupiter. I'm Mars in Gemini, so I'm doing things a mile a minute. I'm talking, I'm walking, I'm moving, I'm coming up with ideas, and Jupiter is just making them bigger and bigger and bigger.
I am Ceres on the inner ring, and the embodiment of the outer in a very deep way, and also philosophical way, being in the 9th house. I could also be Ceres on the outer ring, not too far away, virtually conjunct, but in the next sign of Sagittarius. So doubling up on that philosophical sense of the seasonal and the nurturing, the give and take of life.
I am Venus in the inner ring in Aries, fighting for beauty and for the things that I love, and receiving the energy of Vesta. So guarding a sacred flame and guarding a truth and a wisdom that only I can shine into the world.
I am Mars. Mars in Gemini, on the cusp of the 4th house, conjunct the IC. I bring aggression. I bring rage, although I express myself through words. The fact that I'm in Gemini, through literacy, words, through speaking, I tend to have a bit of an aggressive tone, which is rooted in my family background, in my history, in my ancestry, amongst the land, the people. I am potent, and I want to express my potency and my strength and my power through my way of communicating.
I am Chiron, forever managing the wound and how to heal all of those in the realm of how they think. I have been wounded in how I think. Somebody didn't like what I had to say, how I thought about something. And on the inner and the outer, it's doubled up for me. It's both in the outer, my home, my sacred space of my own thoughts and my sacred space. Who would dare to wound me there? And I heal it, and I heal it, and I heal it.
I am Mercury conjunct Mars in the outer wheel, and I am the source of the rumors. I spread like wildfire. I am in all the social circles, and I am using the energy of the other's resources. I fight for justice, but I'm always right.
Sue, is this Eris in the 7th?
Oh,
I just
did
want
I
to make
put?
sure that
Yes, it is. It is Eris.
Okay.
Eris. That's
Okay.
Eris, folks. The
Okay.
the great.
And that's in
fourth
Virgo?
planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Eris. I am here standing in the field of the other, the significant other, and I'm not going to back down. Like, everyone is included, and it's my heartfelt duty to make sure that everyone is included and not left out. And I will bang my head against the heavens to be sure of that, and in a proper way, in a very refined way as well.
I am Jupiter in Taurus in the 2nd house. My job is to expand my resources, money, sense of security, and I do it abundantly. I am placed in this chart because it's my mission and my job to make sure that there is always enough money, resources, not just for me, but for others.
But you know what? there's just too much. We've got to pull it back. I'm Saturn, and there's way too much going on here, way too much of a big picture. So let's narrow it down. I've got all this Gemini to contend with, and what we need to do is pull it down to one big philosophy.
So is this okay?
Same thing. Same.
Okay, same. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now we've got Lilith conjunct the sun too. Okay.
I am the nodal axis, and I am the magic wand in the chart, stirring up stories. And with this nodal return, I am coming into my true purpose.
I am Mercury in Aquarius, where I have the ability to communicate. However, I am in the 12th house. So I speak on behalf of the collective, those who have passed. I am being silenced. However, because I'm in Aquarius, I am finding other ways and means, innovative ways of communicating. And because of my square to Jupiter, it allows me to expand on numerous communication levels. It allows me to communicate and spread information. Oh.
No, we have 1 minute, folks. We have 1 minute.
Oh, well, 1 minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go back to
I think I'll leave that there so that somebody can come in.
Can I go back to the bi wheel? And pardon if I should have done that first, but go ahead. You have about 50 seconds.
I am Hygeia in the 4th house. I represent the body and the health of the body and the body politic. I'm in an anoretic degree, so I'm about to change signs, and I am in the process of changing my understanding and my connection to the body and health.
In the outer wheel, I am the sun in Libra. So I'm balancing all of this dichotomy between Sagittarius and Gemini, between the big picture and the smaller picture, between the North Node and the South Node.
Woo! Wow, we have here time. Okay.
So now we have to guess what that was?
Well, do you have an idea? Otherwise, the mystery chart's revealed. Go ahead.
Well, so it was Synastry. It was two charts together. That was a surprise.
I know it is, and a part we'll work on how to present that. But here it is. Get ready. The Salem witch trials. They were in the United States, and it was in 1 year. And I apologize. We haven't yet determined whether it was an event, person, place, or thing. Right. And maybe after this, everybody will decide they really want to know that. Yeah. But it did involve people. And Justin found this out, and he can talk about it, the whole group here. But it was...
That's what I was trying to explain, that the one chart was the start of the event. See, on February 29th was the first official complaint in the Salem area, and the 22nd actually on the fall equinox was the last executions in the Salem witch trials, and there's actually 8 people executed on the 22nd. And what happened after that was that there was this backlash that happened. But there's a lot more to the story in that it was ultimately 25 people got caught up or were killed in the situation, and it affected over 150 people. But the reason why we wanted to show the start of the event and the end of the event, which was actually on the fall equinox, was Mars, because Mars in Gemini was right there with that Chiron, and it really explained a lot how that Mars then ended up in Libra. and it kind of gave you the bigger picture of the event. So.
Well, and I love that little bit down there that you have at the bottom. That's new to me, but totally makes sense that the toxicologists have found that there was actually delusions coming out of
yes,
actually,
indeed. I discovered
that was actually, there's a really great book. I'm researched this actually, and I used to work in Salem, that actually was debunked. And because these events happen not only, that's the thing, this not only happened in Salem, but was also happening, these events, affliction with children was happening all over the colonies and also in the UK at the time. Mm-hmm. And there is some belief that it's related to poltergeist activity, but that what happened was because the religious fundamentalism, it really got honed in on a certain way people were focused on it. Also, there was other factors involved, like the Indian Wars were happening, and there was a lot of trauma. Like people were coming down from Maine, what we see today as Maine, because with these horrid Indian Wars, and families were broken up, and so there was a lot of outsiders coming in, and there was that outsider influence and fear that was playing out
of
here.
unknown people, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to bring this up again real quickly to show you, which was Jupiter. Look at this in the 9th house, which is Saturn, which I know, Melissa, you called on, and with the healing and the negativity of what Chiron can be. But here you have it looking at Jupiter, and Jupiter at first was preservation of body and soul, but here it did bring the laws. And of course you can look at this about lies, right? That's the negative side of Gemini, the gossip and everything else that has.
You all were so good. You all were so good. I mean, Israel mentioned victims. Jolie mentioned the body politics. Melissa mentioned that whole Chiron thing. You all were really great.
Now, interestingly, though, this really established, remember, this is like late 1600s. So just the next century became the United States Constitution, but it played a huge role in that because it truly hurt people tremendously, and they made what was it called, reparations up until this last century. And yet, so in other words, it is where you're presumed innocent rather than guilt, and the right to cross-examine, and these different factors that are such a bedrock here of our nation.
Yeah, there was some like families that were created conspiracies. Like I was leaning into one of the captains, and it was like his daughter and his wife. They were plotting to like get rid of people that they didn't want in their reality.
Yes,
wow,
that stuff going on. And I thought about like the Mars in the 4th house and Israel talking about like the aggression that had.
And Jolly brought up. Thank you, Sean. Yes, and pardon, but thinking about the fact that it was the 3rd, 4th house, that whole dichotomy of what was going on in the neighborhood, actually uprooting your foundation as a whole. These are letters that I found of people. I am innocent, an innocent person. Never had to do with witchcraft since I was born. I'm a gospel woman, and etc. But of course, this has been going on in Europe for 300 years. And Europe had its own real travesty, and they killed thousands of people all over. It wasn't just England, it was France and all the different countries. And so these people had come from Europe. And so it was another later.
Yeah, there's a really great book. It's called In the Devil's Snare by historian Mary Beth Norton. And she goes all into the different theories and then talks about what was going on in the bigger picture of how these people were being affected in their lives. So this was sort of the the culmination, and it just really came together in this one town. It could have happened in any of those towns, but it was just this one specific town that was like a perfect storm of how people played out their fears.
And didn't you say too that it was because finally people began attacking very reputable, upstanding people in the community, and that's where the the governor said, wait a minute, we've got to stop and look at all this. Yeah, instead of just the gossip and took off.
Amazing what happens when we allow fear.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was what I was going to say. It's fascinating to look at those charts now from this perspective of, for example, Eris in Virgo, an unevolved planet or an unevolved energy is going to be more on the lines of like purifying out the other. That was in the 7th house. That's a very different translation, knowing some of the story.
Yeah, it is fascinating, isn't it? And I'm wondering about the degree of Eris, because we had the Pluto, was it the Pluto-Uranus conjunction in 65? Yeah. So I wonder about the people born with that conjunction and whether, there's a correlation or connection.
Interesting. Here. Yes. Well, that's very true.
Those are pretty close for me, within 4 degrees. But the square from Eris to Hygeia really stood out to me in that.
Yeah, it's purification. Yeah, and the moon too. I was thinking the moon here.
The moon, and Leo. Yeah, that
nobody mentioned that. I was almost going to jump in.
Well, and that religious fundamentalism with Saturn and Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Religious dogma.
Yeah.
But then law probably finally prevailed when Jupiter moved into that with Mars to say, hey, let's. So and the inclusivity. Go ahead.
So then, I wonder, I'm speculating about the asteroids and whether the people who were persecuted represent the asteroids. Because, there were men persecuted, but they were
mostly women.
They were women, but they were also healers and nature. Yeah. They weren't. And so I'm just wondering if that represents, if they represent those asteroids.
Good point, because look at Venus. Venus is conjunct with Vesta, the hearth, the inside chart. And on the outside chart, Venus is conjunct Hygeia, which is and I almost put those in the charts for people to understand, because not everybody understands about the asteroids. Well, thank you very much. We are going to go to our half break, so we have enough time for our second one. And thank you to Jolly and Melissa, Israel, Justin, Sean, and Marie. We'll be right back. People, stay tuned. Grab something to drink, but we'll return. While we take a break from this week's edition of Talk Cosmos, let's take a look at this cycle's archetype. We are currently in the yin period of Virgo. By leaving a cycle based on the creative manifested legacy of our highest creative form, the energy of Virgo completes the last sign below the horizon of the self and requires discernment to perfect oneself through the mental process of critical analysis. As a mutable earth sign duly ruled by Mercury, Virgo refines, heals, or fixes through daily routines, developing skills and services to control nature's chaos and maximize efficiency.
This is Martha Norwalk. Every Sunday morning, beginning at 9 a.m., thanks in part to the Ananda Institute of Living Yoga, we cover the world of animals. This week, September 22nd, it's an encore presentation of Animal World. Join us to hear our last healing show with Dr. Nels Rasmussen and Linda Rasmussen. Together, they helped listeners and their animal friends with emotional, behavioral, and physical issues. And you can receive a surrogate healing just by listening and following along with Linda's instructions. Martha Norwalk's Animal World, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here on Alternative Talk, AM 1150.
Talk Cosmos brings insightful conversations to awaken consciousness for the soul growth with hour-long programs every Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific on KKNW. Talk Cosmos weekly programs are also available to watch live on the Talk Cosmos YouTube channel and Facebook page. While you're there, make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons so you get the full Talk Cosmos experience. Or if you'd rather listen to the show archives with audio only, the entire podcast collection since 2018 is available on most podcast carriers. And to find out about upcoming programs, sign up for the newsletter at talkcosmos.com. So grab your coffee, tea, or kombucha and enjoy the show.
Talk radio that will get you thinking. Alternative Talk 1150.
Okay, we are ready. Let's get right down what happened here. I want to get out of these. Okay, so we just had the one with the Salem witch. Now, again, this is just a brief moment to share with our audience the wonderful events that each one of you are doing. And so these are our panelists. Israel Ahosi of England has a special 30% off all his classes. He does it every day of the week. Yeah. Israel, any comments or?
Well, I've just sort of restructured the whole thing. So again, running classes from beginners to advanced level, and there's 3 modules: beginners, intermediate, and advanced, and there's 30% off until the 16th of October, I believe. So if anybody's interested in signing up to an astrology class, there's live weekly classes. They also have access to the recordings and reading material. It's going to be a blast. So
good. And that's at sacredplanets.com. Then we have Justin Crockett-Elsie, archetypal Yorish astrologer, and you have your monthly Instagram features, and you're also the relationship guys, YouTube, and I think you have an upcoming event that you want to talk about.
Well, yeah, if people want to see me, you can find me on Instagram. And then also YouTube, I do a monthly relationship guys, kind of like the car guys, relationship guys with Michael Bartlett out of Santa Fe, New Mexico. But I also am doing an OPA talk on December 8th on the Sabian symbols.
Very great. And you're also working with Liz Machette, I know, which I didn't mention here, and her YouTube channel. We have Jolly Knot in England, and I know you've had a couple of talks and one coming up. Go ahead, Jolly.
Thanks, Sue. Yes, I did a talk earlier this summer about the 12th parts, and that was for ESAR. You do have to be a member, but you can gain access to not only my talk, but many others. And I did my first international astrology conference at the end of August, speaking about the lunar nodes. And I have an upcoming talk for the Academy of Astrology that will focus on mundane astrology. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's at the beginning of November. So November 1st to November 3rd. And there is a 50% off discount for the registration fee if you can sign up before September 20th.
Fantastic. And next we have Marie of California.
Oh, hello.
There you are. I know you have an upcoming talk. Yes.
Yes, I have a talk coming up with the San Francisco Astrological Society happening on October 31st of this year. It is a Zoom call, so anybody around the world can participate. My talk is on the ascendant. I'm looking at the ascendant through the eyes of esoteric astrology, which has of course, an entirely different view of the ascendant and its meaning. So I'm going to be looking at all the 12 signs and what they mean on the ascendant. You can also find me on YouTube. I have my YouTube channel, and you can reach out to me through YouTube or my website.
Yeah, Padma Life Coaching. Yeah, we meant to put that on. Good.
Yeah.
And also we have Melissa. I'm going alphabetical with your names in case you wondered. And you have your wonderful Trust the Longer Journey blog, which is most amazing. Go ahead.
Thank you. Excuse me. Yes, that seems to be the place where I pull a lot of things together. I've been yogini my whole life and a yoga teacher for a few decades, and am currently studying environmental science. So mixing a lot of different realms together, and where I do that tends to be in my writing. And I assist Alan Clay in teaching the dwarf planets at Dwarf Planet University. So no specials, no special talks, but, always inquiring.
However, I did add your Heaven on Earth, which I'm looking forward to when you edit.
My show.
That's
so
about the dwarfs.
Yes, I did an embodied, my embodied extended TED Talk is what I've been calling it, where I laid out a fabric of all of the planets, and was surprised to learn how many people don't even know the inner planets. So spent a lot of time going over things like Saturn, if it were in water, would float. Little factoids to help people latch on.
Very intriguing.
The planet.
Then we have Sean Kelly outside of Mount Shasta, and you have a talk coming up.
Yeah, I'll be talking at the Tucson Astrologers Guild there, as you put up on the screen. 2 nights, Friday, it's like November 9th or 8th, and it's November 8th and 9th. And the first night I'll get into the whole evolution of astrology in our culture over the last 30 years, as I've, I guess I'm well suited for that, given that I've driven several larger astrology publications and worked with a lot of the kind of legendary astrologers out there. Anyway, Susie Cox, who is, I guess she used to have a show on ABC back in the 80s doing astrology, anyway,
excited.
Yeah. So it'll be great. She'll be there. And then of course, the second night is something similar to this, which is astro-drama, but she puts it, it's a big group participation thing. Everybody throws costumes on, and, there will badges like, hey, I'm the sun in Sagittarius or something. They'll have these placards that they wear. And so everybody really gets into acting it out there. It's kind of a fun thing. I'm looking forward to that. So thank you.
Indeed, the real virtues of having a physical astro-drama, which it always was to begin with, and this is an online version. It would be fun. So a good reason to go vacation when things get a bit cool down there in beautiful Arizona.
Yeah.
Talk Cosmos, if people are interested in the eclipse, there's 3 programs that are online. Kaleidoscope Visions does a 4-phase lunar overview, and so there's a little talk about that. And then Archetypal Symbols is a very metaphysical oriented approach to the new moon each month, and of course that's the basis, because it's just 2 weeks later that is the Pisces lunar eclipse, and we had a special with Planet Buzz. All these are smaller brands within Talk Cosmos of ongoing panels that are every month. And there's Dr. Susie Holbrook, along with Dr. Laura Tad and myself, we talked about this Pisces lunar eclipse. So you can find out more about eclipses and that with it. However, coming up are 2 very exciting panels that happen quarterly, like Astro Jam, and that's about the fall equinox vibrations. It used to be called Good Vibrations, and I've changed that to the turning season. And it's all about vibrational astrology. So you will see the whole seed for the next coming. What's the story for the next season? Linda Barry, who's a real master, shows you the patterns that chart is going to bring. And there's a new wonderful panel called U.S. Global Currents, and it's an astrological perspective, but our series this year is about the U.S. 24 election series. We did one on the Democratic Convention, the Republican Convention, and coming up in October will be the swing states. This all was inspired because we are in the United States experiencing our Chiron return. So do check out that. So thank you, everybody, for subscribing. I have 500 people. I can start monetizing, and I've got this new idea that I'm going to come up with. We'll see. I know. And for signing up with the newsletter, and I'm trying to come up with something freebie for you guys that will make a lot of sense. I've got the ideas, putting it on paper. We are back to our second panel team. Now here in the USA, we have Justin Crockett-Elsie of Washington and Marie O'Neill of California. That's Padma Life Coaching, and Sean Kelly of Mount Shasta Evolutionary Astro. Again, the theme is the fall equinox. Any event, person, place, thing relating to the equinox. And we might just tweak that in the future to let you guys know a little more clear what we're talking about.
Same century.
Yeah, and it is. You both went like, we're back to the Enlightenment, the period of Enlightenment. Which was not really
the clue or something. What's happening here with that picture?
Well, it was a picture I had, and we can decide about that later.
Okay.
So the clue is where time and space begin. East meets west.
Or
1700s, huh?
Now, again, we have the two. We have, and I'll preface it here. You have two if you want to see it, or you have one on.
So is the outer wheel
the beginning and the next. So it's the beginning of this, and just like the last time, chronologically, the earlier event is on the inside, and the outside one is an aftermath. Okay.
Okay.
Same diff.
Okay.
Wow. Well, I am the ascendant, and I am boisterous. I am joyful. I am, I love learning. I love teaching. I love higher thought. I love everything that is big and grandiose. And I'm right all the time.
Yeah, I am the sun, and you better believe that I'm not just right. I'm going to direct everybody as to what is right. And I'm pretty righteous there in the 8th house in Leo. I've got a lot of self-righteousness, and and I want to bleed over to the moon, but I want to give that to somebody else here.
That's okay. You can do it. There's no rules.
No. I'll leave it at that.
I am Mercury in Virgo, and I think I'm pretty intelligent and smart here. And I like to get down into the details and the weeds of things. And I'm going to be really strategically thinking because I'm right next to Mars here in Virgo. And so we're here together thinking about the best way, the right way, the perfect way to do something or to believe something.
Well, I am the moon in Aries in the house of home. And I tell you what, I move fast. I think fast. I take action fast. My emotions are right here. You know how I'm feeling because I don't hide. And I have a lot of Shakti. I am fierce and ferocious. And don't mess with my family because I will hurt you.
I am the crazy soup in the 3rd house. No, I'm Uranus at 29, and man, I am out there with my communication, like way out of bounds. It's the analytic the last degree of the zodiac is like where all the garbage comes and ends. It ends all right there, and it's just like that's the garbage collector. And Ben, I am bizarre. I'm going to evolutionize things through that. Through that, and it's interesting with I just got to bleed over into the Chiron Ceres conjunction, man. Oh my God, it's like starving myself to death or something. It's really, especially at 0 Aries. It's like I'm trying to end everything and start everything. It's kind of like, God, that clue is really interesting now.
Well, I am the South Node in Cancer, conjunct Pluto in Cancer, and also Vesta in Cancer. And I am all about the tribe, all about family. I am someone who believes in transformation. I've suffered a lot, though. I've had a lot of trauma where the family is concerned. I have it's just been a tremendous, it's been a lot. It's been too much.
Yeah, I am Saturn in Taurus in the 5th house here. And so I'm really focused on resources, especially for my children and my own family here. And I'm willing to support and go the mile when it comes to starting a business and making sure that everyone is taken care of as far as resources, money, land, anything to do in that area.
Well, I am Jupiter in Sagittarius, and you might assume that I am like the Protestant Reformation. I have just, I mean, I cannot think small. I am wanting to, and I do change cultures and change the way people think. My job in the world is expanding people's viewpoint and speaking from my pulpit from just who I am. No one can deny that I am right.
I am Venus in Cancer on the gateway of the 8th house there. Man, I am I'm very sensitive I value sensitivity, and sometimes that really hurts me. I can be very elusive with things. I can walk like that crab sideways. I feel uncomfortable there. It's not warm, but it's sensitive. I value the transformation of things. And maybe with all this 8th house stuff, it's kind of like a gateway to like allowing people to pass through. It feels like a hospice to me or something.
Well, I am Neptune in Aquarius, so I am all about the collective, the tribe, the people, and I can, however, I go beyond what is reality. And I can expand out into the cosmos with my ideals. And I can be idealistic. And I am also opposed the sun. So I am helping to transform the ego, my ego.
Well, I am Uranus in Aries on the cusp of the 4th house, right there with Chiron. And so I need to move. I need to start some new place. I'm not comfortable where I'm at. I need to move. I need to start something new. And I'm more apt to follow some leader, since I'm trining that sun in Leo with Eris. I need to follow some bombastic king or leader, somebody who's a little bit over the top, but I need to move.
Well, I have certainly moved into Jupiter in being very methodical. I have climbed that mountain. I can be a little bit dogmatic, but I reach my goal, I've reached the goal, whatever it is that I've wanted to achieve, especially because I am Jupiter in Capricorn. I am the authority.
I am that moon in Cancer, that new moon next to Pluto. The underlying aspect of what drives me here is family and the tribe. And so I am starting something new here for the tribe or my family. There's some new beginning for the family through some sudden event here.
I am Mercury square Mars, and I am all about do what I say. I've got the strong focus with my persona, but don't pay attention to what I do.
No practice what you preach. Sorry.
Well, I am Venus in Virgo, and I am methodical. My value system is truth. It is organized. I am of service. I am actually a devotee of the goddess. I am a healer, and I help heal the tribe.
I am Juno in Scorpio.
1 minute.
Trining Pluto. And so some relationships are going to die within the family.
Ooh.
Whoops. Let's go. In your last 50 seconds here, any thoughts?
Oh gosh.
Jupiter on the North Node. Is
this the Pilgrims or the I don't know. Jamestown?
I know.
It feels a bit more nefarious than that or something.
Yeah, it's I mean, like I said, I was thinking Protestant Reformation. Martin Luther.
Whoa, we shall find out. Again, the clock has chimed and the bugle is blown. A mystery chart's going to be revealed, and it is, the Royal Observatory in the UK, right in Greenwich. I've been there. Jolly came up with this. I was standing, and I'll show you ahead. But they were seafaring folks, and the king wanted to learn latitudes, and these had a royal astronomer, and he laid the first rock or stone, whatever foundational thing, on the 10th of August in 1675 at 3:14 p.m. in Greenwich. And then a year later moved in. He was John Flamsteed. And this Greenwich meridian, you can literally, it's a green light. You can stand with 1 foot in the east and 1 foot in the west. It's most incredible.
Oh my, east meets west. You guys had some good clues there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so good. I was never going to get it.
Yeah. So it was the oldest scientific research institution, but it changed everything. It was for navigational purposes by King Charles II. And there were only 9 of these royal astronomers in 300 years, and the first 2 plotted all the stars, but they also changed clocks because
the picture was a clue. I knew it.
Yeah. Well, it came up for both of you. It was. You're pretty astute. And whoops. Oh, this is the wrong one. I want to go back and talk about this a little bit more. But it also had to do about clocks because up until then, everybody had their own time system. So really, should we look at the chart just a little bit more and you can see how maybe what you're thinking about it?
Well, I'm thinking about that square with the Jupiter, Mars, Mercury. That square there at the I take it that's the beginning. Yes, it is.
On the left. Yeah,
on the left.
Yeah.
That square precipitated, that's in the 9th house of higher learning, higher education, and it's very smart. It's Virgo. It's strategic. There was some strategic plans. We've seen Mars and Virgo in Napoleon's chart, but it's squaring Jupiter, which is beliefs and expansion there.
Yeah.
So when the stars, when they first moved in or were planning for this, there were only 1,000 stars charted by Tycho Brahe, I think, and by building the Royal Observatory, they were able to chart 60,000 stars.
Wow.
For really true navigation on the seas, which obviously going forward was a big deal for the navies of the world, particularly for England.
I mean, I guess the sun at 17 Leo and the 8th should have given royal right out of that.
Yes.
Exactly. You've picked up so many clues. And in the future, we might do the bi-wheel if we do a bi-wheel. But you all did so great. I came up with one. I'm going to throw this out for people to look at later, because the equinox is many things we cannot measure. But looking here, Hovenweep National Park are these wonderful buildings that it's now a dark sky. They were celestial observatories, and it was during the Four Corners for hundreds of years. And many nations, and it happened to be the Navajos, were in one of the tribes and were the code talkers in World War II and really helped with that war process. And here we have an amazing chart between, I want to go back to it, Nathan. But at any rate, so in other words, it is an idea that the vastness of the sky is really eminent. Well, people can look at that later, but it is most incredible that time is timeless. Thank you.
Thank you for joining an insightful conversation on Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her panel of guests awaken consciousness by connecting soul growth patterns with astrology's energetic cycles. Be sure to tune in next Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific Time, to continue your journey through the roots of the cosmic pathway.